100%. We're starting to get it. Got it. The y coordinate change, that's a reflection across the x-axis. Next one, 5, -2, and then -6, +4. Think about that one, folks, okay?
Here's number 12.
Think about it.
H.
Yeah. Next one. -8, +1, +8, -1. Think about which coordinate or which coordinates change.
Thanks for giving me the answer.
You just did.
You did that time.
Yeah, you did.
What did you say? I didn't hear it. Good.
Don't worry, Holly, there's nothing here.
Yes, there was. Notice the
Let's talk.
Well, what's that learning goal there behind you?
Oh, the learning goal behind me?
Yeah.
Just trying to make sure that students understand why Mrs. Furman is evil. It's a fun one today.
That's good. Did they already have most of the answers?
Yeah, they did. It was an easy lesson for them. They picked up on it real quick.
Well, that's amazing. They're very intuitive, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
My first technology experience was probably Study Island. The first year I came here, that was when Study Island sort of came out, and the principal at the time, he said, you know, give this a look, see if this is something that we want to do. You know, I checked it out, and I thought, well, it looks like it could be kind of engaging, and so we ended up purchasing Study Island licenses. We used it for a while, and it was great from a teaching standpoint because of the data collection. And the kids, you know, it was just another method for them to do multiple choice things, but as a teacher, made things pretty efficient. I think the biggest thing is the ability of technology to get students engaged. I remember when the smart board first came around, the students they just wanted to mess with the smart board. So it seemed like I got a lot more students that wanted to participate in class just simply for the fact that they wanted to go up and write on this electronic whiteboard. The enthusiasm for it has died down a little bit as they get more and more exposed to it, but technology has got such an amazing power to get students engaged, aside from the kind of more efficiency of procedures for the teachers. You are looking at the problems today. I just need you to figure out, did the X coordinates change, did the Y coordinates change, or did both of them change, and then follow what the notes say to do, okay? Folks, I wish you the best of luck. 80% gets the job done today. 100% though, of course, gets us to you. Clips. I try again, and then 9 and 16 I
Can you talk a little bit about what I witnessed when I was in your class?
Yeah, so when you came in, we were doing our quick click, and quick click, we just do some review of some kind of basic math facts, things that they should know fairly quickly, and students respond on their response pad, or clicker as I call them, so I can do some corrective feedback. I don't have a lot of time to do it, but I can give a little bit of feedback, and we get the answers in. I set a goal at the beginning of the quick click. If the students meet it, then we get to watch a funny video clip, and students really seem to enjoy that. They like the video clips, and they really focus, and they're definitely engaged. I think you'd probably agree that when you were watching, I mean, the kids were into it. We also have, you know, a high rate of success with those problems, and I mean, they love that reward, and it's a real simple one because I'm definitely not a tech genius whatsoever. Again, I think I wrote in the blog, like, if one of those kids went back into that room in the library and switched one of the networking cords, yeah, I wouldn't have a clue. It'd be done, and I'd have no idea what's going on. I think you know, getting that label. I mean, there's a few pieces of technology that I know how to use really well, and I've put a lot of time and effort into understanding how those work. And so when I'm able to show those, I think people are like, "Wow, that's really neat." And what they don't see or what they don't understand is that, like, I go through a lot of button pressing and a lot of frustration, and I rip my hair out with that stuff because you know, not many people are teaching me how to do this. So I've got to go in and click kind of what buttons make sense and just sort of be persistent and patient in getting the software to do what it's supposed to be able to do. So I think you need to try to figure out what's going to work in your classroom and just, you know, get that software, get that thing open, and just try to click buttons and make it work for you. Um, and again, there's a lot of people in the building, as we learned from our waiver day, that are experts on different things of technology. I mean, I know that if I wanted to do a video and I wanted to do green screen effect, you know, I'm going to Justin for that. I've not used a green screen before, and knowing that he has the experience with that, maybe I can save myself a little bit of frustration. But you know, we all sort of have different specialities, and knowing who does what well is, you know, might help saving some of the frustration. But really, I think you got to figure out what works for you, get it open, and start clicking buttons and working through it, because it is a frustrating process. So that's kind of been my experience with it.
And your experience has been like mine too, where, you know, even though I studied it, nobody taught me how to do the things. They just said you have to do them, and you figure it out yourself, and you make a lot of mistakes, and you get mad a lot. But like you say, it's a lot of button clicking and making mistakes and correcting and figuring out how to make it work for you, because everybody's experience is a little bit different. You know, and I always think it's the most important thing is not to think about the tool itself, but to think about what in the classroom you want to do, what's your objective, and then figure out if technology is a good way to do it, because that gives you a focus where you don't just feel like it's all dependent on technology. You're thinking about the goal that you have for the learning experience for your students. And that helps you stay focused, doesn't it?
Yeah, oh, definitely. And, you know, over the summer, I think we were reminded that, like, just exactly what you said. I mean, this computer is a tool. It's not the only tool. And I think you got to ask yourself, like, is what I'm doing currently okay? And you don't necessarily have to rely on a piece of technology to do something that you're already doing well. So, you know, don't burn yourself out on those types of things. Just keep doing things that's normal. But try to find what this tool can do better for you and start learning that and start clicking buttons to achieve those objectives. Yeah.
So you're not really a genius?
No, no, not at all. If you've seen some of my verbal scores on standardized testing, it's laughable. So definitely not a genius.
You've got your specialty areas, like you said, and there are a lot of people in this building. I'm discovering somebody new every day that's really, really good at one specific thing. And all we need to do is share that information.
Yep.
And, you know, do what works for us and not try to do everything, like you said, because you can't learn it all and do it all. You have to find what's good for you.
No, and then when you do learn something, they change the software program, or, you know, someone else does it better, and you got to learn, like, the different format. And you definitely got to stay flexible with this stuff, and it's frustrating. It can be.
So what are you working on in anticipation of next year's one-to-one rollout?
Wow.
I think I know one thing you're working on.
Yeah, I'm working on a ton of stuff. The big thing I'd like to do is the screencasting, trying to create these videos. I'm calling them math casts for each of the Common Core standards for the 6th grade, and having those available for students to view. Hopefully, within the framework of a flipped classroom, where the students would be able to view those math casts at home and get the material that way, and then we can work more on the application part of those concepts in class. And then those math casts, they have quizzes attached to them. I've also been turning them into iPhone and iPod and those types of formats, so that they, if they're absent and they're going to be gone for a week, they can load them up onto their device and they can watch them still, and really not get behind at all. So that's my big project. Another one that came up recently is I use the good behavior game a lot in class, and the problem with the good behavior game for the people that play that is you're kind of tied to your board because you're keeping track of all the spleens or the bad behaviors of the class, but it's really hard to help out students and keep track of all those spleens, which I say all those, there's not really that many, but to keep track of it. And so I'm actually working with the person that created the good behavior game and trying to make an app. So your phone would almost work like a remote control to keep track of stuff, so you can keep it right next to you and yet move around the classroom and still be able to keep track of things. And that idea came, like, I had the idea for the app, but it actually came from, of all people, Mr. Beery, his classroom dojo thing. I would have used the classroom dojo thing with the good behavior game, but they don't really fit too well together. And so I brought the idea to Dr. Embry, the guy that created the good behavior game. He thought it was an excellent idea. Neither one of us really have the ability to write an app. I downloaded some stuff to try to make it, and it looks like Mandarin Chinese to me right now. So I don't know if Dr. Embry is going to be able to dig up the resources to find someone to write the app. I'm going to give it a good effort, but I don't know. I'm kind of doubtful.
You know what though? It's like you say, you have to experiment, and Adam, maybe there's an app for that app, an app to help you make the app.
Yeah. Well, and then on Channel 1 the other day, they had all these kids that were working on creating their own apps, and so I was like, well, maybe I'll give it a shot. Well, initially it's pretty overwhelming, but we'll see if I can make it, and if not, I think Dr. Embry is going to be able to find somebody to write all the code and whatever we need for the app to actually work.
I think that'll be cool. A year from now, you might have that app done, and you'll be teaching all of us how to make an app.
That'd be kind of cool. I've actually had the idea for the video, like making the video clips, for a while, but the timing was never right to make them. It's pretty labor intensive. It's a lot of front end work.
It really is, yes.
If you can get it done, and now that we're transitioning to the Common Core, it is a lot of work, but it's like the perfect time to start making videos. So I've always had the idea to make the videos. But as far as applying it to where the students watch them at home and things like that, that's something I've really read about more recently, and read some articles about it. It seemed like an intriguing concept, and I'm anxious to try to apply.
Even though it's labor intensive, like you say, all it took was a couple times of students saying, "Oh, I watched this over the weekend," or "I watched this last night when I got home from whatever practice or whatever I was at," and they're able to get the content, then you see what a benefit it is to them, and then you think, well, it's okay. It's going to have some use. So I think you're gonna find a lot of benefits with that. You get past let's say I'll just use the phrase being self-conscious. When it comes to recording, I've been talking to a lot of teachers who said they really want to try to do some screencasting, but they don't think they sound right on video, or they don't want to see themselves being on video. Do you have any, what you've done so far, any kind of advice you can give them about just being comfortable with it?
Well, the screencast is a great place to start because they don't really see your face unless you put that on there. I mean, you have the option to do that. I don't, because most of the stuff I'm doing is unrecorded right off of the smart board. So, they don't have to see your face necessarily, as long as you can get whatever you want on the computer screen. You don't have to be on the computer screen. As far as your voice is concerned, I don't know about that. You just gotta jump in and do it. And really, I mean, I don't know if people are self-conscious about what the students will say, but the initial response is like, I remember I played my first video this year, and the response is always, "Is that you?" They're not like, "Oh, that sounds weird," or "You sound stupid," or anything like that. They're just like, "Is that you?" And they're more confused about it than anything else. And then you start watching videos, and it's just sort of like that's the procedure. That's what happens. It's normal. And that, like now we watch a video and they don't comment really much anything on it. They just watch it.
We could be talking about the up and down direction, or on a compass we call that north versus south. North would be positive, south would be negative. In a horizontal number line, or on the coordinate plane, the x-axis, when you go to the right, that's indicated by a positive integer, so like 3 spaces to the right, or if it's to the left, it's indicated by a negative number, which would be like -5. Like if they say -5, that means 5 spaces to the left. 0, I should be explaining, means you wouldn't go east or west. You wouldn't be going north or south. You would not be going left or right. Another directional component would be up versus down. If you had a positive integer on a vertical number line or on the y-axis of the coordinate plane.
The kids think it's pretty cool because they're just like, "Wow, you made this," and they really like that, and they want to know how to do it themselves. So, if you're able to throw some time at that, you can have some fun doing some like simple screencast.
I found too that you record, and the first couple times I recorded something, I wanted to go back and do it 5 and 6 times over till it was perfect. And after a while, you realize you don't have the time for that, but also it's never going to be perfect. Just like in the classroom, it's not perfect. But the students, they don't, if you miss a word or stutter or whatever, they don't think anything of it. They just go about their business, and you learn to just kind of go with the flow.
Yeah, that's exactly it. I mean, like when I get a chance to watch the videos as the kids are watching the video clip, and it's like you just make a ton of mistakes, and there's just no way around that. And the kids, but they won't really say anything about it. Don't think anything of it.
And there are lots of different ways to screencast. I'm going to put on the blog again your really neat document that you created that's got kind of a review of each of the different ways that you can screencast, common ways that teachers have available to them, because there are lots of ways to do it, not just one way.
I mean, the smart board, I wouldn't say I do anything super fancy with it, but just it's great to have the smart board. Also, just to sort of capture what you've done throughout the classes and things. I mean, I can go back and remind myself where I got with some of the students in one class versus another. Also, the airliner slate, or the wireless slates where you can walk around the classroom and write up on the screen. The one that I have with the clickers works real nice because it also shows me when they have incorrect results from their clickers, so I can provide like instant feedback and try to help them out like right on the spot. That's one that I use every day. The kids are always going to IXL. I've got test writing software that I use a lot, very much.
Yeah, before I, wrap it up here, when I said I wanted to do some kind of an interview, why is it you wanted to do the Google Hangout?
Oh, just with the Google Hangout, like I saw what you had done at the waiver day, and I thought like, well, I want to try that. I mean, we could have just sat down and we could have interviewed and threw it in front of a video camera or whatever, but I wanted to learn how to do a Google Hangout because I mean maybe this is a good way for teachers to be able to help each other out when it's not convenient for everybody to meet on a certain day after school or something like that. I mean, you know, we're across the building right now,
Mm-hmm.
but I mean, we could be at home or something and have the ability to, you know, work through an issue or a problem, um, you know, and also to learn something new. I wanted to try it out and see what it was like.
That's what you're saying, and that's part of the secret. You know, you were saying you have to test things and try things out. You also have to be curious about them.
Yeah.
That's one thing I think makes you such a great teacher from what I've seen is you have a curiosity about things and you're not afraid to just give it a try. You know, what have you got to lose?
Yeah, and I mean, and just so people know, I mean, this Google Hangout thing, you know, you obviously introduced us to it at the waiver day, and we decided we're going to do this interview, and you know, it said, hey, let's try the Google Hangout, and I mean, I've probably spent, you know, 30 minutes trying to explore around with this thing. Obviously I got some guidance from you, and now I'm talking like, you know, all the way across the other building to you, and it's going to be recorded and put out on the blog. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm kind of a tech nerd, but I think that's pretty cool.
I think it's pretty cool too. You don't have to be as brave as you want your students to be, right?
Yeah, definitely. And I've fallen on my face many times before, but I mean, just get back up and keep trying.
We all have. Maybe we could do a session together on screencasting and show everybody how some of that works.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I love to share all the things that I've come up with, and if I can save people the headache and the frustration that I've gone through to figure it out, you know, I mean, that's going to help out everybody. So definitely, like, I'll make myself available to teach whatever part of this technology piece that I know a lot about. You know, I'll do whatever I got to do.
Well, I appreciate that. So does everybody else. They're gonna learn from a master. I won't call you a genius. That'll make you uncomfortable, but we'll learn from somebody who's kind of mastered the process for using technology anyway. We'll put it that way.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Really looking forward to reading your blog too. You did a great guest blog, and I'm really excited about it. So
All right.
thanks.
Bye.
All right. Bye bye.